What's the name of the map you're on?
It is Bostera Valley of the Titans.
Alright, mics are hot. Like all of us?
Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Titans Gift Campaign Season 2 Episode 4. I am joined by the regular Seattle crew plus one new crew member. Welcome Gene to the group. Welcome Gene.
Welcome, Gene.
Welcome. Oh, yeah, let's get everyone's faces. How's everyone doing? While I get everyone's faces in spot here. Woo! I'm gonna go around the table and let everyone know how they're. It's been a couple weeks or a week and a half.
I think two. Yeah. You want to kick it off over there, Neil?
Yeah, sure. I mean, went to Boston, had a lot of fun there. I mean, got some work done too. Rode some water taxis, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
We stayed in a hotel that initially we thought was not a good choice because it was very close to the airport. And then we saw the beautiful view of the city across the Boston Harbor, which was incredible.
Did you encounter the lovely Bostonian accent?
We did. Yeah, we did. And the lovely Bostonian hospitality where you have to ask a couple of things multiple times before somebody answers you. But that's okay. If you're a visitor, when in Rome, you do like the Romans, right?
Right.
That's very true. That's very true.
It was a lot of fun, though. And afterwards, we went to New York. I had...
First time in New York, right?
First time in New York. Yeah, first time in New York for myself and my wife.
How'd you like the smells?
Were you wearing your vagabond shoes?
Yeah. The smells were. It's overwhelming. You walk 10 yards or 10 feet and you smell 3 different things, of which at least one is poop. You're okay. It was good. It was good though. It was good. Our timing might have been better if we hadn't picked the weekend that the New York Marathon was on.
Oh.
But in all, it didn't bother us. We were up early and everybody was watching the marathon, and we were at Ellis Island when it was fairly quiet, as an example. So it worked out fairly well.
Oh yeah, didn't you have a big rugby match? Was that
World Cup champions?
Yeah. You guys won?
South Africa thrashed England in the final.
Nice.
So South Africa won the World Cup for the third time, baby. Third time.
Nice.
So yeah, we got up very early on Saturday morning and watched the game in the bar at the hotel, and thereafter we caught the Amtrak to New York, wearing our green and gold national colors. It was a lot of fun.
Nice, dude.
Did you just grab some random planter at the hotel and carry it around like it was the trophy?
No, I didn't. I should have, because there was a couple of Englishmen with us watching the game. So, well, there was one Englishman actually, and he did not enjoy the game as much as we did.
That's good.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Understood. Luke, what's up with you, man?
I camped in a ghost town a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I told you gentlemen about that.
No.
That was
We know about the asylum, but the ghost town, different thing?
Yeah, so it was different than the asylum. Me and my buddy Scott, we went out and did some backpacking and went up to Monte Cristo. It's an old abandoned mining town from like 1890s through the early 1900s. It's like a state park now. It was real spooky coming into town late at night in the dark and just seeing like abandoned derelict houses just filled with trash, and just it was pretty creepy.
Did you fight any trash monsters?
No trash monsters. Mostly just the heebie-jeebies the whole time.
No Vark, no nobody
it-
buying your junk.
No junk. It was good. It was a fun capper to the whole spook season, and saw The Lighthouse last weekend, which was a
Movie?
Yeah, it's a fun film if you're into the whole like Lovecraftian sort of tentacle creatures and madness. So that was a good time.
When you say tentacle creatures.
Nah, it's borderline that, but it doesn't quite dip into those depths.
Weird. All right, moving on. Matt, what's going on with you?
Not too much. I've done a little bit of interviewing lately, and I think it's going okay. We'll see. I should be able to end up at a different place than I currently am at some point in the near future. And I
Nice.
think that
You realize your
sounds
boss
good
will
to
be
me.
watching right now, right?
Could he? No. I actually like my bosses. They're good people. I'd love to hang out with them. Nice folks.
Awesome. Gene, what's going on with you, man? You gonna introduce yourself to the
nice to
stream
meet
into the
you.
group? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Gene. I didn't do anything for Halloween. I have a puppy, so I got him a Dracula costume.
Nice. What
Yeah.
kind of puppy?
It's a pug.
Ooh.
Nice.
I think, I don't know, Marty, I might be able to send you
An image?
Speaking
Yeah.
of puppies,
I think I
there's Peanut, in case you were wondering.
Oh yeah, Peanut's
In his customary position.
customary spot of stealing the warmth from Neil's
Delightful. Yep.
excellent.
lap.
All that.
Yeah, if you drop it into VC, I probably can.
I just sent it.
Let's see if I can get this on there. I'll show up there. No.
Ooh.
Oh man, it's adorable.
Yes. I thought so too.
That is super cute.
Alright. VC has an image viewer, which I think I can just add source screen capture. There's the puppers.
Yay!
Look how cute that is.
Oh,
Little costume. Ah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
So you didn't have a Halloween, but the puppy did.
I mean, I was there.
I would say maybe
You enjoyed it more than he did. What's his name or her name?
It's a boy. His name is Kifir.
Kefir?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a Mediterranean dish?
It's a Middle Eastern like dairy drink.
Ah, yeah.
You can buy it at the store.
How did that name get chosen?
What's the word? Not simplified, like a form of it in Russian
Yeah.
sounds adorable,
Yeah.
and it's a fitting name for a puppy.
Okay.
Nice.
It's not a human name. It's my dog, Hank. It's like,
He's also my AA sponsor.
weird. It's almost as weird as people
I was drunk at the time.
with two first names. All right. What about me? What about me? I had early meetings before the day after Halloween, so I didn't really go out.
You didn't miss a lot.
Didn't miss a lot, yeah. But we're having fun in the other campaign. The Enter the Dungeon campaign is rolling along, and it is weird. I have made it weird because running an old school dungeon just as written is actually really, really boring.
I bet.
So the party has started to realize that they have memories from the past campaign that they played through with these characters. This is off stream, and they realize that every time they fail at defeating this demon in this dungeon, the Temple of Elemental Evil, the circumstances reset.
Oh man.
So they found their own bodies in the temple.
Yeah.
And some of the NPCs, the really powerful ones, actually have memories of them trying to do this before, and they think that the lords above and below are betting on or have some sort of game that they're involved in. And they've learned that they've never actually defeated the demon, the demoness that is trapped inside the temple.
Yeah.
So they're hoping that this iteration,
We'll get on this time, guys.
they're pulling
Tabletop roguelike.
Yeah, it's almost like I've reproduced a video game into this, but it's part of the lore of the Martyverse, and they're starting to try to figure out where in the timetable this appears, and they've got some references, some loose ones to other campaigns. So there is a grand narrative across the 15 years worth of campaigns that I've been playing. At some point, there will be a campaign where, kind of like Avengers Endgame,
Oh, jeez.
characters from multiple campaigns get together to face the...
First Endgame?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So we have that to look forward to in the future.
Let me get my Ant-Man build ready.
So I had plotted in one of my DM journals the timeline of the campaigns. Of course, I'm not going to show you this because...
Just show us for a
No.
second.
But the word Titan's Gift appears in there in a chronological order with some of the other campaigns. And is it in the past? Is it in the future? Is it the same time? Is it off to the side?
Tune in next week to find out,
Right,
guys.
exactly. It may be revealed in time with this campaign. Nice segue over to what happened last time. Season 2, Episode 3 was called It's About Time.
It's about life.
The Jerks Emeritus, which is the name of their party, self-given.
Yeah, or jerks.
The Jerks Emeritus reach the Valley of the Titans. They parley with a blind hag who is inscribing runes at the crossroads while they were en route to the Ossuary Vault, the sacred burial place of the Fant. At the ossuary, not the boneyard, which apparently you guys all giggle at when the more colloquial name is used, they speak to the wise Fant, simply known as the albino. Zephyros delivers his master's bones to their final resting place. The professor takes out Zalara's Harrow deck, and she performs a reading. I don't know if you guys want to summarize what happened with your readings. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Esri is offered tutelage by the albino in the ways of becoming an oracle. Perhaps she will become an oracle just like her father before her. Zephyros asks about his master's staff, and the albino sets them on a quest to find a crystallized scale of a fallen red dragon. To get the scale, they must brave the dangers of the valley. And we left off in a particular circumstance, but we could pause for a moment to maybe walk through what what you guys got out of Zalara's card reading.
I got the
Joke card.
Yep.
it is a
Chaotic good card. It represents the struggle against a challenge that can only be overcome with humor or trickery, and it gives me a hero point if used in that sort of circumstance, and it represents the part of me that is good and not overcome by evil and madness.
Interesting.
I drew the sickness, upside down, the neutral evil card of Constitution, associated with famine and disease. It gives me kind of a gross feeling, like the sickness that might be the beginning of the end. Just as autumn is kind of the beginning of the end of the year, where the end is winter.
Yep.
When I'm affected by famine, disease, sickness, I can choose to have it affect another person in the party instead, as long as this is active.
Damn it, if only we still had Malba.
That's what Malcolm is for.
Another person?
Yes. Yeah, I can, yeah, I think so. I don't know, maybe I could choose the bear. Yeah. Yeah, I can probably choose my own familiar, certainly.
Or the
I bet they'd
hand.
let me do that.
Can the hand get sick?
Probably not. I don't know. Maybe we'll play around with it.
Yeah.
I'll bet if I try and get too cute with it, it'll backfire.
Yep.
That sound like a possibility there, Marty?
What happens if Mockernum gets sick and he starts hurling? Do the things that he stores come out?
Oh, that's interesting. All the questions for the ages. I guess we'll have to play and find out. What card did Zephyros draw?
Zephyros drew the Snakebite, which is a chaotic evil card of int. It's associated with poison, venom, assassination, and interesting enough, the Fant albino did not like the fact that Zephyros drew this card, or didn't like the card.
Mhm.
The card allows to negate poison, venom, and coup de grace attempts, and it has 3 charges, and it can be recharged or store charges by poisoning or by performing poisoning or coup de grace death attacks.
That's an awesome one. That one is super useful.
So what I don't remember is whether we can store more than three charges. I think 3 charges is the maximum number that it can store, but you can refresh it or replenish it if it runs out.
Yeah, I don't remember how many charges I gave you off the bat. Was it 3 or 1?
3. 3 charges.
We also
But what I mean is, I don't know if 3 is the max or whether we can take it to 10 charges by.
No, I think 3
Probably
is the
not.
max.
The 3
I
is the
think 3
max.
is the max.
Yep. And then Tech, did he draw a card?
Yeah, he got the one where he can use like a hero point to help himself, but we get like a villain point or something.
Yes. His active hero is he drew the twin card, which represented the duality of self. He can use a hero point if used selfishly. In service of himself, a villain point gets used against the party, and then if he uses it in service of the party, a villain point gets used against himself.
Nice.
So it's like punishing the fact that he's got
Friends?
that he has been in service to you guys almost as an extension of your will. Yeah, that's an interesting one. And I think those were all the cards that were given. I don't think. Esri drew a card, which then led her to believe that
Yes.
she drew the healer card, and this led her to believe that the midwife. To believe that she could become an oracle, and
Oh yeah.
and the albino did agree to take her on. So
Shadow Oracle.
she's no longer in the party. You guys were wandering from the Ossuary Vault to the Smoking Butte, where you believe there is a lair of a dragon.
What a beaut!
When you came across a large herd of desert rothe, picture big, shaggy yak things, but about the size of elephants. Bantha from Star Wars, or the big yak thing from what was it? Stargate. There was a big yak thing in Stargate. They do have horns, and there's a massive herd of them that was being startled by 2 loud prehistoric apex hunters called Yerthax. You know that their vision is poor and that they can screech and do damage to physical objects with their screams. 2 to 3 of them were flying towards the group, and there's now a charging rothe herd. I think some of them are slipping up in the grease and other things that you had cast. The party had disappeared up a invisible rope. Is it invisible yet, or is it not?
It is.
He's invisible.
It is invisible. Okay, into an extra dimensional space. At this point in time, I'm going to describe what happened. There's something that happened on your way in, and this is particularly about Zephyros and Makronom. So as you, just in the moments where Zephyros decided, instead of climbing the rope, I'm just going to use magic to cast fly and fly into the extra dimensional space. While you did safely go into the extra dimensional space, you did feel that Makronom was like moving around on your back while you were flying. And you're going, oh, now? And a bit of blue light was coming from your back. And as you were flying up into the extra dimensional space, Makronom, for some reason, untied the big door and frame that you guys carry around with you, and that dropped to the ground at the bottom of the rope. Looking back after you set down, you're staring down through the extra dimensional space. The rope is invisible, and you can see the door. Luckily, it fell peanut butter side up, and there is a blue light that is burning up between the door frame and the door itself.
Peanut butter side up. Thank God.
At this point in time, while the portal is opening in the door, a giant horde of desert rothe are now running.
Typical Ludo. Coming back at the strangest moment.
And yeah, these big beasties are they on the initiative sheet? Hostile rothe. Yes, they were the next to go. There's that one that was dazzled, but I think he was destroyed. The rothe are slipping in the grease a little bit, but the mass herd of them is headed your way. I'm going to roll a d3 to see if the desert rothe run into your invisible rope. One of them runs right into your rope. 2 is the rope just gets knocked around and is perfectly fine, and 3, they don't even touch the rope. Okay, so the rope is jangling, as the herd's going by, it's kind of jangling around, and you can see at the edges of your spell, the portal that kind of looks that you can look down into.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that it's being pulled a little bit, and the reality of the space is kind of bending and flexing.
That's not good.
You can't. I don't know if any of you have see invisibility up, but you can't quite see that. So the herd of
Really yanking the rope down might not be a great idea if we were ever to find a rope trick, but yeah.
Destroying the rope might do bad things to the rope trick spell as well as those inside. The herd is passing. The Urthak are flying in, and they're pretty good flyers for speed, anyways.
I do have see invisibility up.
Okay, you can see the rope. Like one of them smacked in the rope, it's jangling around, and you can see the doors are opening. The 2 Urthak are flying over, probably excited that there's a body or something to eat. Let's see what their speed is. 60. So they're flying above the ground and kind of scanning the area. The door is glowing blue, and for a brief moment, when the door is opened, you can see an outline of what looked like Ludo. But then something very different emerges. The first thing that emerges is a bowling ball sized object. It is not perfectly round. It looks like a statuette of some sort. And it just kind of got tossed out and is rolling around, and it rolls up at you, and it looks like this big ferocious bear in a statue form. And then I need you to roll initiative, which is just a d20. I've got your modifier.
2 or 3?
Yeah, or you just give me the d20 result.
14.
14. There is Ludo's silhouette has disappeared from the space. And a much larger, perhaps it's Manny, a much larger silhouette is standing just on the other side of the portal that now has appeared in your door and frame. All right, given that we left off in combat, I'm going to continue the round. So, what is Tech doing?
Tech has dropped out of rage, and so he is currently fatigued for like 2 rounds.
Okay.
Because you had 2 rounds of rage. So I think maybe it's 4 rounds.
Okay. And then San, the little halfling guy says something to you, and I already wrote down in your backstory what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, don't worry. They'll look after you. Go!
Well, and how was the bear tossed? Did he toss my bear, or did I?
He tossed your bear.
Okay, I followed immediately.
Okay.
Ignore.
Emerging from the door, you pass through this bluish light. You can see like a strange sky, and you get the sense that the door that you're exiting out of is not at the same orientation. So you go lurching out and then kind of topple over a little bit. Give me an acrobatics check as you loom forth from this door that is lying on its side.
Mm-hmm. So here's D20, 13, and Let me look up my acrobatics. 13 plus 6, 19.
19? Yeah, you were able to keep your feet. You could kind of windmill a little bit. And let me find San's token. Show you what it looks like.
Nice. The big reveal.
I thought he was on the map already, but
Well, I was. Because on the forest map.
Ooh. He's all covered. His
Okay.
face is all covered up.
And then forest trail, yeah. And then your bear is a tiny statue at this point. And I'll
It's a
put that
statue, huh? Sounds like another ranger I've heard of.
All right. If that is Manny, Manny is nope. That's not Manny.
Wrong tinge to what little skin you can see. The eyes are red, and he's wearing a smog. A massive bow made out of bone is over his shoulder. He's breathing heavy, like he just underwent some exertion. At this point in time, there's still the open portal, but the magic seems to be receding.
Did we hear somebody say something to him?
No, you actually can't hear out of the extra-dimensional space, so all of this... now, San, you are not in the horrible madhouse where you had been captured, and this is definitely immediately from the heat of the place, not the Beastlands. You're in some sort of desert, like just this wall of dry heat hits you, and there is so much dust that you're having a hard time seeing what's going on. The ground is shaking. At first you thought it like some sort of landslide, but nope, you are at the butt end of a herd of great shaggy beasts that just passed through this area, like a brief moment before you launched in, and then you hear this horrible primeval bird sound, and look over your shoulder. There's an expression that is hidden by your smog of oh shit, as you can see these huge pterodactyl-looking things kind of riding in behind the great herd that is still shaking the earth. Give me a D3. Because you're standing right underneath the flopping invisible rope, we'll say 1, it hits you straight in the face and like you could find it. 2, you got hit by something you don't comprehend. 3, you're totally missed by the shaking rope.
1.
Okay. Something hit you in the face. It wasn't very hard, but it actually, you stopped it, and it feels like a coil of hemp rope. You can't see it, but it's like right next to you and kind of resting on you thanks to the rothe. You guys got lucky with those D3 rolls, by the way.
Yeah.
You really threaded a needle.
All right, so you did one action to walk through, and then you took around, you assessed your situation. Your bear is still on the ground, kind of right beside you. What is the next action you're going to do? We're in combat mode right now.
Grab the bear.
Okay, so you scoop up the bear, and you still have this rope kind of next to you. You could also probably just hold onto the rope if you wanted to, or grab at it. I'd allow that.
Well, just looking around me, is there anything to hide behind, or even like get in the shade of, or is it completely open?
It is unfortunately an open field. It would probably take a good sprint off towards the rocks in one direction.
Yeah, sprint there.
Okay, so you're about getting ready to sprint, but you don't have enough actions. But you have picked up the Balamut into your hands. Those damn Fae did something to him, and he's been stuck in this statue form.
He's got the rope.
Professor.
I saw it turning
Has the-
blue.
Whatever it is.
The blue would not have worked in here.
Says Malkernam.
Take it from me. I'm a living extra-dimensional space.
We saw Ludo silhouette.
through the door briefly.
Yep.
I saw Ludo through there. What mischief has he gotten up to now? Suppose we should probably do something about this.
Who's that guy?
I don't know, but I don't suppose we want him to get eaten by these things.
Don't go down there.
You know.
Pixel is saying to
Am I
Farsight.
hearing any of this?
No, they're inside of a little bubble that's invisible. You can't. There's still just this thunderous roar of the mooing and excited and frightened massive beasts and the primeval screeches of the Yurthak. Next time you see that tricky little halfling, you're going to probably want to have some words with him.
So I'm flying right now. I'm right by the entrance to this. Could I, through like a 5-foot step, put my head and arms through it?
Yes.
Okay, Henry, hero saves the day again. I will do that so that I can
Be on the other side of the extra
Okay, so you basically
space.
5-foot step. You got a hand on the rope.
I don't have a hand on it.
Oh, you do just
I'm
sort of bending.
flying.
You're kind of flying down
Yeah,
out of the rope.
yeah.
All right.
So that I can be on, have enough of me on the other side to cast.
Sure.
I will expend one of my
Arcane pool points.
Is there a verbal component to this?
I am holding Bakam's wand, so it will be silent.
Okay.
So I'll use one to increase the DC of all spells I cast this turn. And I will first throw a
ghost sound that's equal to about 24 humans worth of sound, which will be in the tenor of a medium dragon whelp, perhaps. It will be max range behind them. How far away are they?
they're 100. I can do like 400 plus some. It's a long range spell. So I'll do the roar of a dragon behind them in the distance.
Okay.
And then
So I'm just going to use the door. So 400 feet back is kind of where that other one is.
Oh, what was that one doing? Oh, that one.
It didn't take flight, it's just roosting.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
So the ghost sound's way over by him.
Yeah, and it's the sound of a roaring dragon.
A roaring small dragon. Okay.
Yep.
And this I do hear.
You
You hear a
that.
different roar. There's also a chance you could spot, like, maybe with the dust, the invisible person kind of like quietly casting a spell right above your head. Give me a perception check.
I need to do a.
Do you need a sneak from me?
No, because you're casting a spell in combat. You are not sneaking, although invisibility gives you a plus 20 to your sneak, so it's like you rolled 0 and it's DC 20.
20.
20. Okay, so there is like a shift in the air above you, and as some mist, like, or some of the dust, like a little wisp of dust rolled in, you saw a weird outline of some old halfling.
Distinguished mustache.
Like, just kind of popping into the air. You're like, there's something above you. You're so you 5-foot stepped. You're out of the rope, so you're directly above San.
And after I let loose the mighty dragon call, I will cast auditory.
Hallucination on the two of them.
Okay.
They're 30 feet apart and within range. I will have them hear, if they fail the DC, the sound of like their mother or queen or mate, and she will be telling them in their crude draconic language,
Back to the nest, quickly! We're under attack! Now, my children!
Okay. Is there a verbal component to this spell?
No, it is silent as well.
Okay. So there's something waving its hands around above you. There's something there, and then what is the DC of this?
The DC will be 22.
Wow.
Damn.
12 and 23. Okay, so one of them has been ensorcelled. I'll give it a yellow aura for it might be leaving combat. Pharisee. You no longer hear the professor. You heard him psyching himself up, and then... Oh, you see invisible. Yeah, he's just outside. He's just outside of the extra-dimensional space, hovering above this strange giant.
What in
man.
the world? I will.
He's got a pet, says Pharisee.
I think we're going to need to. I think we might need to fight some things.
Sounds like an excellent reason to stay in one spot and not doing it.
We got a bunch of people right here together. I'm going to cast Moment of Greatness.
Okay. It does not affect people on the other side of the extra-dimensional barrier.
Sure.
It will only affect yourself, Tech, Mockernon, Gobbler, Zephyros, and your familiar
Does
Pixel.
the professor get? Do I get the professor's butt?
So yeah, I guess he described it.
Moment of great butt.
Yes, you could do the moment of great butt as his ass is still kind of in the in the extra-dimensional space. He's in a very dangerous spot right now. If anything happened to the spell,
If anything happened to Moment of Greatness.
no,
Or if anything happened.
anything happened to the rope trick.
Oh sure. Oh, slice them up.
Oh yeah, that'd really fucking.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. That Moment of Greatness will help.
Where is your familiar right now? The crawling claw? Is it still?
It's on my shoulder.
It's on your shoulder. Okay.
Is there a token for that?
There
this
should be
map?
somewhere.
Don't worry.
Where he went off to. He should be invisible as well.
There he is. Good. All right. Creepy. Next, it's Zephyr. Unless Pharisee is moving.
No.
Pixel doing anything?
No.
Zephyros.
So Zephyros didn't see anything because he was climbing up he was flying up and at his back to the door when this happened. Did he pick up on what was going on in the meantime? So in other words, is he situationally aware such that he knows he has to go down and fight or something at this point?
Well, you can see everything below you. So this opening you can see down into, and you saw Ludo appear, like his silhouette, and this guy hop out.
Okay, so Zephyros is going to fly back down, but he'll probably leave Mokranam up here.
Okay. All right. Emerging from nowhere is a gigantic. How tall are you? How tall is Zephyros?
I'm not sure.
Is a 9'3",
Yes,
700-800 pound, one-tusked Fant. You've seen these creatures before. They're inherited races. Effectively think of a humanoid elephant. He is dressed in battle robes and carrying a Grim Reaper-like scythe. This thing is not for threshing corn, it's for threshing men and collecting souls. It has like a dripping necromantic energy coming off of it. And he just kind of came out of nowhere and startled you a little bit. You are threatening each other.
You're afraid of Ludo? So Zephyros, as Zephyros comes down, he looks at him, and he saw Ludo, so he just says to him, "You are afraid of Ludo?"
Would I know Ludo's name?
Yeah,
Because that wasn't actually part of the write-up.
Yeah, you shared a cell with him briefly. He told you his name.
I know him.
Don't die.
Wasn't planning on it.
All right,
So we don't have time for a very deep conversation. We have
No, this is the middle of combat, and it's also like, "Are you a friend of Ludo?" Because of like the herd that is right next to you and kind of stampeding away, and the angry Thrax. That's probably about all the conversation you could have. So you took a move action to fly down.
Yeah.
What else?
How far did I fly down? Can I still cast something?
Yep, you could continue flying as well. You only took about 10 movement to get out.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll fly a little bit away. Maybe I'll fly a little bit this way.
Okay.
And then I will shoot the Earthak that's still coming our way. I will throw a.
Yeah, you can give me a sense motive. You may not know that this one's like gonna fly away.
Let me just check my sense motive. Oh wow, I have a massive +3 sense motive. Thank you, Marty.
Hey, you built your character.
No, I know.
What is that?
Plus, it's a 19.
Skill, right?
It is a skill. Everyone gets to roll it. You could put points into it. So yeah, you do see that one looks like it's breaking off and like it's looking behind itself and not squawking like it wants to go away. The other one is dive bombing into your general direction.
So the one that's dive bombing into my general direction, I am going to throw, I think, a cold fireball at it.
Nice.
Okay, flying out of the middle of nowhere is a Fant wizard that tells you not to die. He then invokes a few honking incarnations, and this little pea of blue magic goes flying from his hands, and then explodes into this wonderful nimbus of blue light in this size. The blue light does hurt it. You could get them both. They are close enough.
I think I want to leave the one that's flying away alone, if I could. I don't want to interfere with the spell that was cast towards it.
Okay. This is definitely cold magic, as it leaves behind a bit of steam in the desert air and sort of a tinkling mist ever so briefly. The creature does not like what happened as the explosion rocks him. Let me check their immunities. Note, what is the DC of the saving throw?
It's going to be 17 plus spell level, which is 3.
Yep.
So that's 20 plus 2 because it's an evocation spell, so 22.
Nice. Can you roll damage?
I can indeed. I am just checking. I think this is 66, is it? No?
66 probably plus 2 or 3?
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah, 66 plus 2 damage. Okay, 66 plus 2. 25 damage.
25, and it fails its saving throw, so it takes the full 25. As quickly as the ball of ice appeared, it disappears. And the creature is rocked by this, not bloodied, however. The hostile rothe and the rest of the herd continue kind of moving off into the distance and going away, but you've given the Earthak perhaps a new target, or new targets. That one Earthak is going to basically do a loop with one of its moves and begins flying away. It's kind of flying behind this outcropping of rock. The other one, however, is moving in. And it saw where the blue thing came from, so it's kind of looping in and diving down. It's only about 10 feet off the ground with its great wings spread. It opens up its evil mouth and is going to there's kind of like this warbling lance of sound that comes out of his beak, and as it's touching the ground, it's causing the ground to break up, and it's doing a sweeping attack towards 60-foot ray. Okay, so it's going to try to peg Zephyros.
Oh no.
What is your touch AC, Zephyros?
So I have mage armor up.
I don't think that affects your touch.
No, it does not. My touch AC is 13.
Okay, it gets 29, so it's breaking up the ground, it goes into the air and explodes against Zephyros. Zephyros, It is like once the lance touches you, it sends Zephyros into a mad backspin as the sonic lance does this to your right knee. 30 damage.
Oh, damn!
That's real.
Zephyros goes blasting backwards.
Is this the first time I've ever seen a backflipping elephant?
Yes. he rights himself, but his knee and part of his robes are kind of torn apart, and the creature is coming straight in towards.
That hurt. Oh.
Yep, this was sonic damage. I don't know if you have any resistances to that. You can
No, I
subtract.
don't think so.
Tech is next.
I think Tech's gonna delay until after Pharisee.
He
Okay.
does have. We gave him a bunch of fly potions too, which may be
Oh, Tech? That's true.
useful for this sort of.
Full round action, drink a potion.
Yeah.
Okay, full round action, drink a potion. The amazing bug isn't visible yet.
Something Tech does sound like a good idea. I will remove a potion.
Son, there's a giant magical flying dinosaur horrible beast coming this way. You have no doubt it's going to want to eat you or rip you to shreds.
Okay. Kind of. The bear is big enough to where like I need to hold it in my arm to carry it, right?
You
I can just
could
put it in
spend
the
an action to stow the bear. You could free action drop the bear.
I saw him throw it, and it seems like it was fine. So
Yeah, it's like a stone
Right.
statuette.
Yeah,
It's kind of
drop.
rounded. Okay, so you thunk, it just thunks into the grass. And
Yeah.
nothing bad happens to it.
cast. Take the ball off my shoulder,
Yep.
or like however you carry it.
Mhm.
Cast gravity bow.
Okay, give me a spellcraft check, Zephyros and Professor, as the two of you notice that this man, you assume it's a man under there, it's manly shaped, is casting a spell upon this great big bow that looks like it was made from the rib of some prehistoric creature.
It literally was.
Yeah,
That's a good roll. 18 for me.
the DC of this is 17, so you guys recognize that he used, he called upon he used divine magic to cast gravity bow.
Nice.
Okay.
That's good.
So, I think you have a move that you could have done while the bow was being taken out. Like you could move around.
Yeah. Then just keep running toward like those rocks.
Okay. So
this
you're kind of strafing off to the side towards the rocks.
Well, a little bit. Hold up. Let me see if I can move this. Like, is it 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this, like slightly further away from there or something.
Okay. So you're kind of moving back from the creature. You've got your bow, which has got powerful magic written on it. How long does gravity bow last? Rounds?
Minutes, I think.
Minutes or rounds?
I think it's minutes.
It's a while.
I'm pretty sure it's minutes.
Good question though.
1 minute per level. And
Yeehaw.
nice. Okay, so it's gonna be around for a while then. I don't need to track it on the combat sheet, which is really what I was
I
trying
think
to
this
get at.
combat's gonna last 6 minutes.
Yeah, cast to level 3. If 30 rounds from now the thing's not dead, you guys are in trouble. Okay, that was Son moving. Professor.
The professor will expend another
Arcane pool point to increase the DCs of all spells cast this round.
This one on its turn, because the ghost sound was nearby, got rattled. So it's actually leaving its spot and is now kind of just flying. It's like airborne.
I'm going to throw a ghost sound and then another ghost sound.
Both of them are going to go at the year Thack that's right by us.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the sound of roughly 24 humans worth of bells, and then another roughly 24 humans worth of bells, pulling as loud as possible in this thing so it's hard for it to hear.
and navigate and find it. I'm gonna try and just fuck up its sonic vision.
Okay, what's the DC of your ghost sound?
The DC of the ghost sound
Church bells, lots of them.
is 21.
Nice. And you're whipping off 2 of them.
Yes.
Ugh.
And then I will 5-foot step fly back up into the space, and I will say, "Well, I've done my part. The rest is up to you, lads." Seems we have a new visitor. I don't know what Ludo was thinking with this, but
Pharisee?
We need the Fant. Let's go cause some trouble for anything that wants to hurt the Fant. Pixel, why don't you deliver this? I'll cast Touch of Idiocy,
Okay.
which Pixel can then deliver. Tech, you don't look so good. Maybe come down when you're feeling a little bit better. Maybe figure that out.
Say hungover or something.
when you rage as
he took a pretty
barbarian?
good-sized hit.
Did he?
He's got 20 damage.
Oh
on his
yeah, he
weapon.
was
Yep.
fighting the dealies.
The big desert rothe.
Yeah.
I will pop down out of the door and
So you standard action the Touch of Idiocy spell. And then you're moving down.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Pixel can move down and I think fly over and touch this thing.
Yeah, let me see if it is even going to take an AOO against Pixel. Pixel's so small and it's being screwed up by the bells right now.
Pixel's willing to do this reasonably stealthily too.
Yeah.
It's,
The problem with stealth for
20
Pixel
feet.
is that this creature does have blind sight.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it detects Pixel,
That probably makes sense.
although it's in the middle of a minefield of church bells.
Yeah.
To the rating of 24 humans and 24 humans.
Thank you.
Would a pixie be able to fly through air that's vibrating with the strength of 24 bells?
24 humans worth of bells.
Oh yes, 24 so from like one bell.
It's probably a bit disruptive.
It's probably a little bit disruptive.
It's also the wash from this creature's wings, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to AOO
Yeah.
something. It's going to AOO the bell spell number 1, bell spell number 2,
Okay.
or Pixel.
Yeah.
Seems fair.
And it doesn't have combat reflexes, so it will only AOO one thing. So if I roll a 3, Pixel's in trouble. 2, it's thrashing around, it's chomping at the air where it hears the bells, it's all screwed up. Pixel does manage to get all the way up to it. Technically, she has to be in its square,
Oh, okay. She'll go ahead and get into the square.
and then she can make a, assuming she's got enough movement, which is 25, I don't know what her speed is.
I think her speed. Let me do a quick check on that. I think her speed is 40 on the fly.
Nice.
40 on the fly.
Alright, so that she can move forward a single move and attempt a touch. Now, this creature's touch AC is 11. It's big.
I
And
think
barn-like.
she's gonna be able to pull this off.
Yep.
Let's see here. Pixel's actually on the list. Yeah, melee attack plus 16. So this is don't roll a 1. I do not roll a 1. I roll a 3.
Okay. She lets loose the spell and makes this thing an idiot.
Yes.
What does that do?
Your melee touch attack applies a 1d6 penalty to the target's int, wisdom, and charisma scores. You can either roll individually or just 1 for all of them.
I think I'm just gonna roll 1 for all of them.
And the penalty can't reduce any of these scores below 1.
Right.
Wow, all 3 of them.
Yep.
That's a good one.
-4 to int,
That is a really
wisdom, and charisma.
That is a good spell.
Damn.
Okay, there's a swirling magic around its face as it's attacking invisible bells that are not real, and it's looking like it's pretty embarrassed. So it's int.
It's embarrassed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you there.
It's int 7 drops to 3.
Ooh.
Its wisdom 15 drops to 11, and its
Nice.
charisma 11 drops to 7.
It's one ugly son of a bitch.
That's a -2 on will save.
How can
Yeah.
that thing have charisma 11?
Charisma could also be like force of personality. It actually has the intelligence of a troll, so it could talk.
Right.
It has the charisma of an average human being, basically.
Right.
Hey, it's got.
Did you just say the average human being is a troll?
It's a great orator among its people.
Right. Caw, Tuki Tuki. All right.
I am local council person.
Vote for me.
Zephyros.
Zephyros is gonna do the only thing that he can do at this point, which is to rinse and repeat what he did the previous round. He is gonna throw another fireball at this guy,
Okay.
but it's again a gold fireball.
All right. Could you point at where you're centering the fireball?
Oh man.
Somewhere around here. I just want to catch this thing. I don't want to catch. Yeah, that's gonna miss Pixel, right? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so you kind of lob a fireball off to the side of it, and another cold burst comes blasting in. And what was the DC of this again?
22 plus.
Would he
I'm
be able
getting.
to see the pixie?
Yeah, he saw
It's
it.
not invisible, and we've been hanging out for a while. But it is very small.
Well, and also combat and next to giant flying thing. So that's what I'm wondering. Like,
Yeah, he might have been able to see it go from the door to the thing.
She was not sneaking
Yeah.
and not invisible, and there's this little blue thing that's glowing slightly.
Yeah, she could actually put a little bit of light on, so that might not be a bad idea in this combat.
Good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
It's also why I asked him to center his fireball.
Yes.
Yes.
You didn't tell him, hey,
Why?
are you getting Pixel? Yes.
Somewhere over here, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like, that's okay, she can save.
There are situations where friendly fire is a thing,
Yeah.
and it's usually when like misspells are up or people forget.
Yeah.
All right, so roll damage.
So the DC is 22 plus whatever bonus I get from the DC spell that Professor cast.
Oh, okay. It's a reflex save that it rolls it fails, so it takes full damage.
Okay, so that's going to be 6d6 plus 2 again.
Kenny, Dragster, how's it going?
Almonds here too.
Almonds here too. Cool.
28. Much better this time.
28. All right, so that singes its wing or freezes its wingtips, and a few of its feathers go falling off of it. That's 53 damage. It is not bloodied.
Holy Toledo, guys, we got a problem here.
Which brings us to the hostile rothe and the herd. The herd is now kind of exiting stage right. And they're slowing down a little bit, but they're moving away from the sounds of the Yurthak. Which brings us to the Yurthak. So this one is flying hurriedly back home because the mother Yurthak is calling, and it's
Get out of here.
How long does that spell last?
Concentration.
Okay, so it's like cacawing and taking to the air, while this one is circling around for the round. I'm gonna roll to see if it like understands that the ghost sound isn't real, but it is looking for the small dragon. It's now interacting with your illusion. Use your illusion, and
Nope.
it thinks there's a baby dragon to hunt.
Ah, where is
it's
it?
circling
Where is
around
it?
you.
God!
Yeah, it's looking around. It's agitated. If that was the goal,
The goal was to make the auditory hallucination more convincing.
okay. This Yurthak, is going to. ringing bells, but it knows that
It's getting harmed by these guys. It's gonna land. It's now
kind of moving forward along the ground. Its wings are kind of acting like its arms, and is pulling itself forward violently. It's going to try to bite Zephyros.